If you're interested in holistic health, in this video, we're going to go over the 4 pillars of health so that maybe if you're new in your health journey, you can have an idea of where to start in this completely overwhelming and comprehensive topic. And if you've already been on a health journey for a while and maybe you're stuck in a rut, you're going to know exactly what your next deep dive should be so you can advance to those next levels of health. Health means the measurement of your quality of life, right? And health is multifaceted. There's a lot of components to it, and it takes a lot of dedication and discipline and a lot of very conscientious decisions made consistently over the long term to live that healthy lifestyle. But health on a biological level also means an organism's ability to adapt to change. Now we can switch that lens a little bit. Change, another word for that, is stress. So we have our organism right here, and it's in equilibrium. It's balanced, and it's balanced with its internal environment. It's alive and it's healthy. Any change in that system or to that organism is technically a stress. It's a stress to the organism, it's a stress to the system. And an organism's ability to adapt to that stress, to change in the face of that stress, and mount an appropriate stress response is literally the definition of health. So to give you a real life example, you are laying down on your bed. Your blood pressure is at an appropriate level for you to maintain consciousness, your breathing, your blood pH, everything is at equilibrium. When you get up out of bed, that's a stress, that's a change. And your body has to make a lot of adaptations for you to successfully get up out of bed. Your blood pressure has to spike temporarily, muscles have to activate, your core needs to engage, your nervous system needs to fire to integrate all of that, and all of that needs to happen in a very short amount of time. Your body's ability to do that is your health. So all health ultimately starts with the nervous system. And the reason why I say that is because your nervous system really functions in 2 critical ways. Number 1, it's how your organism or your body understands and interprets an environment. Whether we're talking about our senses, like sight, smell, taste, hearing, touch, proprioception, balance, you name it. All of those senses help us understand our external environment. We also have a ton of senses that we're not even aware of that help us monitor and understand our internal environment, all in an effort to maintain balance or equilibrium. Now, the other way that our nervous system functions is to communicate. Number 1, brain to body, and then number 2, body to brain, right? So our nervous system functions to understand our external environment, to discern our external environment, and then to help affect change through that communication. So ultimately, all health starts with the nervous system. If your body can't accurately assess what change is happening or assess and determine what stress is going on, it cannot appropriately mount any kind of adaptive response. And then beyond that, let's say your eyeballs get a message. You're driving along the road, right? And you see brake lights. Your nervous system has to, number 1, understand that change is approaching. And then number 2, your brain has to communicate what to do in that response such that the message travels from your brain to your body, you step on the brake pedal, and you avoid a collision, which would be further stress. Your nervous system functions to do all of that. And that was just a super simple example. We're talking about driving a car and stepping on the brake lights, but it's also, you get a microorganism that's foreign to your body exposed to a mucous membrane, and now all of a sudden your immune system has to mount a response to destroy that pathogen, right? It's super deep. But the nervous system coordinates all of that and controls all of it. So, it all starts with the nervous system. Now, connected to that are the 4 pillars of health. Pillar number 1, intake. So what do I mean by intake? Intake is everything you put in your body, so foods, liquids, and everything you put on your body. Your skin is the biggest organ system in your body. And everything you put on your skin is absorbed through your skin. It's an enormous absorptive organism. So a lot of times we talk about nutrition, we're really thinking about, okay, what am I gonna eat? What am I gonna drink? What are my calories? What are my macros? You know, the list goes on. And then we neglect to think about what are the creams we're slathering on our body? What are the sunscreens we're using? What are the cosmetics we're using? What are the toothpastes we're using? And the list goes on. So what we put in and on our body is of vital importance. And I would say that for most people on a health journey, right, if you've got this nervous system being cared for and healthy in the most right way, the next most important thing to work on is going to be your intake, especially if you're carrying around weight that you shouldn't be carrying around. The first place you start is with that intake. If you've got gut microbiome issues, intake is probably where you start. Hormonal imbalances, intake is probably where you start. The list goes on, but if you're beginning your journey here, this is probably the thing to deep dive on first. The next pillar of health is movement and rest. So movement and then lack thereof. Periods of time where we work and periods of time where we stop work, rest, and recover, right? Sleep would be a big component of rest. Exercise is a huge component of that movement category. Our daily activity is a huge component of that movement category. Our bodies need to move. Our joints need to move in order to be and stay healthy and functioning at their very best. Our brain needs our body to move in order to be and stay as healthy as humanly possible. In fact, the number one thing that you can do to prevent onset of dementia is a walking routine of 20 minutes every single day. It's that important. So, who would be focusing on movement and rest? Well, if you've got your intake dialed in and you're taking in the right number of calories, the right ingredients, putting the right things on your body, the next place to probably start is going to be that movement and rest. And if you're that person that's already got a great workout routine, but you're not doing your active recovery days, right? You're not doing your stretching and mobility. You're not sleeping enough. You don't know when to rest, right? You've been working 7 days a week for 3 months straight. The rest component of that movement and rest is where you probably need to really engage in that next deep dive. The next pillar of health is going to be your mental and emotional health. And mental and emotional health is super important, right? Our thoughts drive our emotions. A lot of times, emotions feel like they happen to us. I get cut off on my way to work, and I instantly get furious. Me being mad is an emotional response. How I choose to then think about being cut off after the fact can very much change my emotional state. When I start my day with gratitude, my emotional state for the rest of the day is so much more calm, collected, and joyful because we've been gifted with so much beauty in this life, and keeping that in our primary focus can really be a huge tool. So, you've got your intake all set, you've got your movement and rest good. Well, the next thing to work on is that mental emotional deep dive, right? Maybe it's talk therapy, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's meditation, right? The answers will be unique to you, but that's where you probably focus. And the last pillar is your spiritual health. Spirituality is huge and infinitely important. You know, why are we here? Why are you here? What is your relationship with your maker, right? Huge component of your health. Now, the reason why these are huge categories is because I wanted this system to be, number one, all-encompassing, which means these categories needed to be huge. And every single thing you could possibly want to work on in your health is contained within these 4 pillars, 100%. And the reason why I keep saying deep dive is because ultimately, there is no one source that will be your final teacher. I'm definitely not going to be your final teacher. right? And so if your deep dive, because you're starting off your journey, really needs to be intake, what goes in and on your body, ultimately, this is going to be a process that you have to dive into. It's going to be a process you have to embody and live out day in and day out until you can achieve mastery of it. And it's not going to be a simple like life hack. Oh, add broccoli and then you're going to be good, right? Add garlic, you're going to be good. Take out sugar and that's all you need to do. It's never like that. And the answers for our health are never that simple. There is no cheat code. There is no life hack. It's ultimately work. And it should be a labor of love because your health is everything. And each one of these pillars is going to involve probably months and years of your life. And I don't want to say that to discourage you from diving in, but the reality is that everybody watching this, you most likely have a lot of years of your life left. Especially, if you're younger than 50, you've still got more years to go than you've done. And so what I want to invite you to do is embark on a journey. I want you to open a door, walk through it, and start walking a path. There are no shortcuts. There are no quick answers. But the journey is just as joyful because there is no destination. You're always working on this stuff, and it's a beautiful thing. Now, I want to get back to the nervous system because regardless of what's going on, this is where you start, and this is what you keep doing. Because the nervous system connects and controls all of it, right? And ultimately, from the moment of conception, the very first cells that begin to differentiate themselves are the gray matter of your brain. And the next structure is then the gray matter that will become your spinal cord. It's the very first structure to form because it is the literal bridge between your spiritual self and your physical self. Our spirit animates us. It powers our bodies. And the disconnection between our spiritual self and our physical self is called death. Without that power flowing through you, your body starts to immediately decompose. You picking up what I'm putting down here? And that connection between your life force and your expression of that life force in the physical realm is your nervous system. So I eat a nutritious salad, right? My body understands that I ate a salad through my nervous system. My body was able to put the salad on the fork and bring it to my mouth, chew it and swallow it through the activation of my nervous system. My body then registers I have food in my stomach, again through my nervous system, and then starts the process of digestion again through the nervous system. All of the cells, all of the molecules, all of the nutrients of that meal then go through the digestive system and either become me, become energy, or become waste through the action and the coordination of the nervous system. It is infinitely important. So regardless of what you're doing, if your nervous system is not sound, healthy, and free of interference, that's what you got to start. And that's what you got to keep doing. Because if your nervous system isn't right, none of these things can talk to each other. None of these things are going to work in the most right way. So drop a like, drop a comment. I want to engage in a conversation with you guys about where do you need to go next? What do you need to focus on? And if you've got questions about tools that I can possibly provide you with to help guide you on any of these journeys into the deep dives that you need to do to be your healthiest and most vibrant and joyful self, please drop it in the comments. I want to talk with you guys. Pumped to be a part of your health journey with you. I'm Dr. Marco Accordo. Live higher.